Howdy, folks. Welcome to Mental Health Monday. My name is Kenneth Thomas. And on Mondays, I like to talk about topics in regards to mental health. Because let's face it, this is something we all deal with. Excuse me. All right. So today, I want to talk about self-confidence and mental health. Now, if you're catching this live on Facebook and you want to participate in the conversation, make sure that you go to StreamYard.com/Facebook and give Facebook permission to connect with StreamYard so that way you'll pop up in the comments and I'll be able to see you and you'll be able to participate. And that will help as far as if you want to join in live. Now, if you're catching this on the replay, thanks for coming in and catching it on the replay, and doing me a favor and drop a hashtag replay down in the comments, and that'll let me know that you're catching this on the replay. Now, this morning on a Rise and Thrive Zoom that I do with a group of people that really help me keep myself going in a lot of ways. We listened to an interview with a gentleman named Ed Mylett. Now, I'm sure that there's a lot of friends of mine out there that are like, "Oh, Ed Mylett, I know who he is." I had no idea who this guy was, but I was listening to him, and he was saying a lot of things that were in a lot of ways very profound to me, and in the way that they were causing me to stop and think and change a little bit, maybe about one or think about different ways that I was perceiving things and maybe a better way to look at it. And one of the things that he mentioned, and this is a quote that really just dug into my brain and made me think, is that if you lack confidence, that you have a bad reputation with yourself. And I was like, "Now wait a minute." And then I stopped. I took a breath, and I had to think about it. And the more I thought about it, the more I realized, you know what? I think he's onto something here. Because if you're lacking confidence, that means that you haven't been very good about keeping your promises to yourself. So what can I do about that? Well, if I've got a bad reputation with myself, where does that come from? It really comes from the fact that, I'm going to get up and I'm going to exercise, I'm going to do this, I'm going to eat better, I'm going to do this, and then you don't follow through with it. You don't keep those promises to yourself. And the more you do that, the more damaging it is to your self-image and your self-esteem. And that damage to your self-image and your self-esteem is going to directly impact your confidence. And another thing that he was talking about is how a lot of people, their confidence is wrapped up in achievement. And if you're constantly chasing achievement, you may gain a lot of things, but you're always going to feel the need to chase it. And if you come up short, then you've damaged your self-confidence in that aspect. Again, you made an obligation to yourself that you didn't follow through on. He said that confidence, the best source of confidence is in your intentions. Because if you have the right intentions and you set about to do what it is that you're going to do, having the right intentions is going to give you the confidence, even if you feel that you don't have the experience or that you don't have everything that you need. And another thing he mentioned was that if you're always trying to get ready to start, by the time you finally start, it very well could be too late. So that's another thing that really kind of stuck with me was, if you're constantly waiting for the right moment, the good moment, if you're waiting for that perfect moment, the good moment to do that thing, whatever it is, may just pass you by. And then what are you going to do? So that really, really stuck in my brain because Wow. I can gain self-confidence and self-image by keeping promises to myself. But the other thing with that is that you got to be reasonable about the promises that you're making to yourself, okay? If I'm going to say I'm going to lose 25 pounds by the end of this week, it's not really realistic. You're not going to be able to achieve that realistically. So I'm going to drink more water tomorrow. And then you do it. Do something simple. Do these things in steps. And as you do these things in steps, you'll find yourself moving toward that better self-confidence, that better self-image. And if you fill yourself with the intent to do good, the intent that what you are out to achieve or to accomplish is worthy, then your confidence will build on that as well. So the biggest thing for me is the realization that I self-sabotage, because I'm going to give myself a list of 15 things that's going to change tomorrow, and none of them do. Now there are some changes that I've managed to make and that have stuck, that I have been able to stick to. One of the things I decided about a year ago, I was drinking probably 2 12-packs of soda a week-ish, 1.5 at least. I was drinking soda nonstop. Not good. Well, I made the decision that wasn't going to continue for a number of health reasons. And now I drink my Splash 2.0 lemonade, and I'll drink a gallon of that in a day. And I feel better about myself because that's something I stuck with. I also feel that it's important to have these little victories. Like my friend Anna said, take the step and it proves you can commit. So set those little steps and take those steps. And another thing, and I think this is something else that Ed Mylett said, was the difference between an intent and a decision is the actions you take immediately. And that really kind of stuck me because, we all have these intentions. I'm going to eat healthier. I'm going to get healthier. I'm going to work on my wellness. I'm going to do these things. But do we act on those intents to turn them into decisions that we actually carry through and follow through on? I'm an inherently lazy person. I don't like the hard work of trying to make changes in habits. And I know that once you get to a certain point, the habit becomes self-fulfilling and you just roll with it. But getting from the 300-pound rock that is sitting in the mud and getting it into motion, it's messy because I'm pushing on this thing. I'm going to be covered in mud. I'm going to be slipping. I'm going to fall in the mud. It's going to be disgustingly messy and frustrating and everything else. But once I get this thing moving, I'll get to a point where I'll hit a hill, the top of a rise. And that will allow me to build momentum. And as this thing starts moving on its own, it's flinging all the mud off. So it becomes something that isn't as disgusting or as frustrating or slimy to deal with. And as I'm moving, I become a cleaner version of myself. Now, I don't know if that analogy makes sense to anybody. It works in my brain. So I'm the 300-pound rock covered in slime and mud. It's time for me to just start pushing and push consistently and make little steps Because every time I take a step, I make the decision and I take that step, and then I prove to myself that I can. And I've kept a promise to myself, which builds up my self-confidence and my self-image. And it's in the intent that I gain that confidence. Now, I will tell you, folks, if a year ago you had told me I was going to be doing live streams, I'd have looked at you and like, what in the hell are you talking about? I'm not the kind of person who's going to be doing live stream. What? No, nope, never going to happen. And then somebody pointed out to me that one of the things that I want to do is I want to help people live better lives. I want to be an advocate for mental health because I have my own mental health struggles. I don't know if you can see my story is not over, and it's got the little semicolon. For those of you who don't know, the semicolon is kind of a symbol for people who either attempted or contemplated suicide. Because in grammar, the semicolon is a pause, but with a continuation afterward. So there may have been a pause in my life, and there have been a couple of times when that semicolon was there. But my story is not done, and I'm still going forward. So as somebody who has struggled with depression, anxiety, suicidal ideation, and actually attempted suicide, I understand that there is a lot of struggles with mental health. So part of my intent in doing this is to normalize the discussions with mental health. Another big part of it is it allows me to help others. It helps myself when I actually will get out and talk about things. Tuesdays is all about sharing something I have a passion for, photography. And I love it. Wednesdays is all about wellness. And I have come to realize that wellness is something that we need in our lives. And Thursday's Thoughts is all about me trying to share a little bit about what goes on in this noggin and how I view things. So all of this, the intent is to help other people realize you're not the only one struggling, to share something I'm passionate in so that you can see that you can find something that you have a passion for and it can bring light and bring you forward. And to share information about how to live with more wellness and health in your life. And to give you a little bit of insight what goes on in this crazy heathen brain. So that's my intent. And with that intent, I found the confidence to start doing these live streams. I'm still working on being as consistent as I'd like to be. But you know what? That's okay. Because no one is perfect. If you're perfect, then that means you're done, you graduated, you're dead. If you're still here, it means you're not perfect, and you still have work to do. Now, as usual, I want to end the show talking about the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. If you or someone you know is struggling with mental health issues to the point where you are contemplating suicide, call this number, 1-800-273-TALK, T-A-L-K, or for those of you who don't want to read the little letters, 8255. 1-800-273-TALK, 8255. There are people there that will help you, and they will help you to understand that no matter how you may feel right now, suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary situation. And there are people who matter that you matter to. And they will be devastated if you're not here. So if you feel like you can't keep going, reach out for that help. If you don't have someone in your life that you can reach out to and go, hey, I'm struggling, I need help, call this number, 1-800-273-TALK. Get the help you need, because you know what? Your story is not over. This is just the semicolon. Your story should continue, and it can. So until next time, folks, thanks for joining me. If you're catching this on Facebook, make sure you follow so that you can catch notifications when I go live. If you're seeing this on YouTube, Please like and subscribe. That way you'll know when I'm going live. And as always, peace, love, and photography, folks. And remember, everything can make a beautiful image, including you. Have a great afternoon, and I will see you tomorrow.